Now we gotta talk somewhat decently loud because, I mean, we get loud anyway.
Yeah.
Loud anyway.
I can't hear. I've got 20% hearing loss in both my ears, so that's why I always get, yeah, like everybody's like, oh my God, you're so loud. I'm like, yeah, because I can't hear myself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
I'm deaf.
I'm deaf. Okay.
Just in
this
case.
is the second round.
Oh my God.
Because the first time that we did this, my crew, I didn't have enough memory on my, this was why I got the camera.
Yeah,
because
we had the best
stoner conversation.
Oh,
I didn't even get my weed. I gotta get my weed.
She needs to go get her weed.
I know.
I'm about to hear some shit.
Okay. I got my vapey this time, my little vapey. And, yeah, so if you want some, cool.
I might.
Okay. I'm not going to pressure you because I'm not one of those.
It'll be like the
chicks.
last 30 minutes because that'll at least give me time to be hilarious and insightful before I fall asleep and my eye goes like this.
And she does this.
I do that. Like, when I get tired, you just see this.
Oh my God. Here we go. Okay.
Yay.
Mystic Conversations with Awakening Stoners. This is one of my very, very good friends, Jayme Romarine, and we are talking today about energy work. And you know, we go off on tangents, so there might be some aliens thrown there. We don't really know, but this is what we're going to start with. So we will see it in just a minute.
I feel like you should rename it though, like Mystic Tangents with Awakened Stoners.
Yeah,
Did I just
Mystic
blow
Tangents.
your mind?
That might be a good idea because
I'm just
I go off
saying.
on tangents. Like
Well, especially if we keep doing this together, like you can't be like, okay, Jayme, we're gonna talk about this today. I'll be like, cool, and then 5 minutes later, I'm gonna be like, the aliens. And
then there's aliens.
Then there's aliens.
We kind of do that.
Yeah. So maybe you should rethink about making.
So sorry. This time though, I'm only taking one puff because when I take more than one, I mean, I had the last, was it the last interview I think that I had was with my friend Lori. I adore Lori, and I was a little too stoned. And I took 2 puffs. Oh my God, I was way stoned.
I was laughing. I was like,
oh God, it
oh,
was bad.
right there. Like I was watching it like this. I'm like, oh
my God,
I'm up right now.
Yeah, I was, and that was 2 puffs. Like you know, there's this verge for me.
You
There's
would
this wall
think-
that I hit that I'm like,
Yeah,
my
you would
body's
think
like,
that
no.
your like tolerance would be a little bit better.
You know, everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that I'm like this weed guru. I don't know shit about it.
I'm not saying that you need to be a weed guru, but you've been smoking weed for a while.
Yeah,
and
but
I've
always been just a one-hitter quitter.
Right, but you would think that after all of the one
I know.
hits that your body would be
You
like,
would think.
we need more, but we're not going to make you stupid. But
You would think, but that is definitely not the way it works with me.
Well, why is that? You're the whole like.
I think energetically, and this is my theory. Okay, I think energetically, you get to a certain spot frequency wise, you know what I mean? And I think I just hit a wall at that
Well, I think
frequency
you
level.
need to
And I'm
bust
like,
through that frequency.
Well, I think that's the problem. If I smoke too much weed, then I can't bust through the frequency. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, because weed holds a high frequency, but when
Some
you're
of us-
talking about, yeah,
Some of
depends on
you
who it
don't,
is.
and you need to work on that.
It depends. Well, I think that's the point, though. So for some people, I think, and this is just my theory, so it doesn't mean I'm right. I think that for some people, it brings their frequency up.
Mm.
And so, but I think for some people, and I'm by no means, because that sounds really bad, like I'm thinking that I'm, you know, that high up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I get to a place energetically where if I have too much of it, I hit a wall, and then I just can't think. And so I think energetically it sometimes pulls me down just a little bit. Does that make sense? Without sounding like, because I don't know, you know, I don't know all. Like, that's not where I'm getting at on this. God, no. God, if I knew all, I'd have life figured out. What do I have, fuzzies in my hair?
No, you're just have one random curl that's sticking, like it's looped.
Yeah. I did
And it
not
bugs
do,
me.
I
It's
did
on my
not do my hair.
peripheral.
I didn't curl my hair.
It's really cute though. I really like it.
Thank you.
Like,
I'm kind of getting to the place now where I'm like, I don't give a shit. Whereas before, I mean, I still like to do my makeup and all that. And by the way, I have clean makeup now. It's in the description box. I got clean makeup. I like the organic, like all natural stuff that doesn't have a bunch of chemicals. So I do have that. But I get to a point where, you know, I was like all dazzled up and I have to like look perfect. And now I'm like, you know, I'm kind of digging my like be free hippie style kind of thing going on. Like I like to do my hair, but sometimes I'm like,
I definitely, because I work from home, so I like am in my pajamas until I clock out of work, because I'm like 5 minutes before I clock in, I'm rolling out of bed. But when I do, like, because I like to, like, I want to look pretty.
Yeah, I think.
And so, like, I'll do, like, my eye makeup and everything, but I haven't put, like, face, like, foundation or anything on for, like, years. And I got to the point, too, because I would wear foundation because I hated the way my face looked. I hated my freckles and how my face always got red right here. And now I'm just like, fuck it, I'm adorable. I don't need makeup.
I love that. And I think we, like, for a very long time, I, like, all of in my family, they're all beauticians or, like, doctors and nurses. There's no in between. It's very weird. It's beauticians, and they, like, do this whole makeup thing, and everybody's dazzled up. My family is very much like my big fat Greek wedding.
So for my big fat Italian wedding?
Yes, but
y'all Italian.
Yeah, well, we're Italian, but I did learn that we're not as Italian because I did that DNA test thing, which can go into my conspiracy theories, because afterwards I was like, I gave them my DNA.
You're like, oh my god, I'm on the grid. I'm in the grid now. I'm in the grid now. Yes. I was just like, fuck it, I want to know where we came from. I know.
So, but after doing that, I found out that we are actually I'm more Spanish than I am, so Portuguese. And then afterwards, I think I was asking my cousin, I was like, I didn't know, like, that we're more Spanish. And she was like, yeah, you didn't know that Grandpa was Portuguese? And I'm like, no. Like, we grew up in, like, an Italian setting. It was, like, very, very much Italian. If you were to walk in off the street, you would be like, oh, God, they're Italian. Right. Or Greek, you know, like, they're very similar. So that movie always cracks me up, because that's definitely how my family was growing up.
Put some Windex on it.
Yeah. Oh, God, but it's Dreft soap. Dreft soap. Dreft soap cures everything. I'm not joking. Ask my mom, who was a nurse. But, so this beautician thing, like, when I was in 4th grade, I think I started wearing makeup. And it was very, like, oh, I just wanted to look like them, because they were beautiful. Like,
But you're beautiful!
Women, well, thank you. But, I mean, I'm starting to get that now, that vibe now in when I look at myself without all the crap. You know what I mean? But before, I was very much into all the makeup because I wanted to look like them. And beautiful women, man. I mean, beautiful women. But now I kind of dig the whole, like, a little bit more natural. And yes, I still enjoy putting on makeup and stuff. It's not like I don't do it, but I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm like, you know what? Like, on camera, when I first started, you know, and I was very, like, rigid and...
Oh, my God.
I know, it was ridiculous.
I felt so bad because I was like,
she's bombing.
That's not going to do very well.
Thank you, I know.
But I love you.
But now I'm getting to the point where it's more natural, and I like to... Like, who gives a shit if I didn't do my hair? You know what I mean? Like, who cares if I don't have all the makeup on?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I still like it, but I'm not to the, you know, to that threshold that I used to be of, like, oh my God, everything's got to be perfect. And, you know, we have these, like, filters and all this stuff on how we should look in, you know, when we take pictures. And I tend to do that from time to time. When we do, like, you know, selfies, I'm like, oh God, I look like I have wrinkles and I have the, you know, and then I'm like, no, screw it. Like, we're putting it on there and we're just going to make it, you know, like, it is what it is. I'm 41. I should look like I'm 41 and not like I'm 25. I don't want to look like I'm 25 anymore.
Right.
You know, so.
It's false advertising anyway.
It is, right? It is. So, energetic healing. I want to talk about energetic healing with you because you do Reiki. I call it Reiki. Is it Reiki?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You it's whatever.
Call it Reiki. I guess it's potato.
Yeah, right. Italian, Irish. I don't know. Because you're Italian and I'm Irish.
Yeah,
so.
whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever. So, so I wanted to ask you, when I do healing for people, and I don't do Reiki, okay? But when I do, like, help people with the chanting and the Dharma and, you know, all that stuff, I get to this space. I kind of go to that space, and this is where you go with mediumship. You know this.
Right.
Where you're at, some people call it the Akashic Records. Some people call it different things. It doesn't matter. You know what space I'm talking about. You go into this realm where that's connected with everything, right? The God space, we'll call it.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you link up, and it's kind of an equal playing field for everyone. Okay? So is that where you go, or is it somewhere different that you go to help?
I think it's a like, obviously it's something, I don't remember what it's called. I'm just like my color space because I'm color.
So you don't pay attention.
I don't even pay attention. Yeah, like technicalities, like potato, like whatever. But it definitely, so what I feel like, I think of it is, and it's been, you know, kind of talked about too, that it's just like it's the collective, the universal collective, where we're all connected in the same space.
The God space.
Yes.
See, but I've never heard that. I'm just calling it like,
and I'm
it's
just
a
like
Jaymeism.
Yeah, exactly. The Jaymeism. We're going to start a new new
Language.
speech. Yeah, language and speech.
I mean, we don't really have speech, especially when I'm baked.
Oh yeah.
Anywho.
Well, and then we've gotten to when we talk, sometimes we're just like, oh, but we know what we're talking about. But
We
like
totally
everybody
do.
else, like Justin's like, the fuck, you guys.
What are you guys talking about? And we totally have a conversation like that.
Yeah.
It's like having a conversation with emojis on your phone.
Right.
We used to do that too.
When we would meme more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
But it was based on what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like.
Right.
Yeah. Because memes are
So
funny.
tell me about colors. How do you heal people with colors?
So, basis of Reiki is that you can feel people's energies.
Yeah.
And I can't, like, obviously this was such a long time ago when I got certified, but you should be able to feel it and sense it and everything. And I learned the way that everybody is taught. But when I started doing it, it wasn't the way that I was taught. I knew it was working, but it wasn't the way it's taught. So what I do, like, I can't go into you and be like, oh, you have something wrong with your knee because of I feel the energy.
Right.
I'd be like, there's something, I don't know what's wrong with your knee, but you just needed a bunch of turquoise in it.
Right.
You know, and so that's what I do is that when I am Reiking somebody, like, and I've gotten to the point because I've started Reiking a lot more because I obviously want to do that as a living.
Right.
But I've gotten to the point where, like, when I'm down at the feet, I'll hold the ankles and I can see, like, it's almost like so it goes up like this, and it's just a string of color, and it comes down like that, and so that will show me
body.
Yeah. And so what I will see is like a color. So like when I did him, he was his life string or whatever was red, but then the person that I did before was like neon green. And so then after I do, like, I'll do the chakras because they're all color based. Like the chakra, the crown chakra is a bright or a purple, and then your crown is indigo, and then your throat is green, and then the ear chakras that I didn't know about until like 2 months ago are like red purple, you know, and then the sacral is yellow, and then the root is red and everything. So I will get those going, but then if I'm like seeing if you have something wrong in your shoulder, I'm not going to know that there's something necessarily wrong, but I will see that I need to put like a lavender color in here right this, you know, and I don't know what the colors mean. I can't be like lavender means this and
so
this.
So it's mediumship.
Yeah, I'm just like,
it's mediumship.
Yeah, you need some lavender up and right there.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's worked so far.
Right. I think in mediumship, I've tried to explain this to so many people because everybody's a medium, right? Mm-hmm. And I think everybody's a medium in different ways. Mm-hmm. So to me, it just makes more sense that, you know, you're not going to make sense of what you're feeling. It's almost like there's no language for it. You just do what you do. Right. You know, so, I mean, that makes sense to me that you would see the colors and like, who gives a shit what that means? Right. It means something to me. So it's like when I'm doing mediumship, it's like charades. They're playing charades with me. And so, you know, I might see somebody as a 60-year-old man, you know, and then tell somebody, oh, I think that's your dad. You know, there's somebody that's standing over here. And he might have died when he was in his 20s or something. Right. You know what I mean? But I see him because I'm seeing the father figure. Right. And so they show me and it seems like it's the same with
I think
colors.
it's a lot of misconception too, because I've talked about this with Serena during the class, because I think, like, I love the class and I feel like I'm doing really good, but then I just question myself a lot because the misconception is that mediumship is you can physically see there. So the misconception of like Hollywood and all that is that as a medium, I can physically see somebody standing right there. And that was the misconception. And so when she was like, when we're going over the clairs and trying to fix it, I wasn't thinking that I had any of the clairs because I couldn't fit, it wasn't a physicality. And she's like, no, it's actually very rare for a medium to be able to physically, like, if I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a reading, oh, your grandpa is right here, like, I can physically see him with my physical eyes. That was the misconception. And she's like, no, it's very rare for mediums to be able to do that. It's what comes to you in your, like, in
I've
your
done
self.
that. I've done the seeing them like a hologram almost twice in my entire life.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's in here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't even want to say in here because then people think like they don't have what I have. Like everybody's got this.
Right.
But it's your imagination.
Right.
So it's like an overlay on a video
Right.
production. You know, like CGI. Like
Mhm.
I can see it in here, and you can see the colors, but it's not physically. You know, like I can't see. So you're telling me anyways that you can't see like the green on somebody's knee, but you see it here.
Right.
And know
Yeah.
that it's here.
I'm not physically seeing
Right.
the color on your. I'm seeing it because obviously I'm going to close my eyes.
Right.
And so like I'll close my eyes and I'm like,
Imagination.
yeah. So it's right there. But so then that was the other problem too. I was like, how do I know what's my imagination or what is the guides telling me? And she was like, is it your imagination? And I was like, no. And she's like, right there.
Right.
Like if you
Right.
know, if you have to
I think
question
the word
it.
imagination trips people up because
Yeah.
imagination means it's fake.
Mhm.
You know,
It's
to everybody, and it's not fake.
Yeah.
It's
no.
like this is real. And I remember. I mean, I know I've said this a million times on my show, so everybody's heard the story a million times. But when you were a child and you're running around and pretending there's a forest, I mean, I could really see that forest.
Mhm.
But I could, you know, it was in here, and so I could click out of that as soon as Mom came down and said, "Hey, it's dinner time." Boom, it's gone, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And you know what I mean? Like it just disappears.
Yeah.
But while you're in it, I could see everything.
Right.
And that's how you see these little kids, like, with tea parties, and they're like, okay.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
they're like,
you
they're
can see
really,
it. They can see
they're
that.
drinking it. They're drinking. Like they've
Right.
got some Earl Grey tea up in their little. Tastes
Totally.
so good, you know.
Totally.
But then people want to like
Yeah.
ruin that, and it sucks.
I agree.
Like when people are like, "Stop using your imagination." I'm 39 and I still use my
I know.
imagination.
Like
Shut the fuck up.
in school,
Mhm.
when they're like, "Oh, you need to pay attention." That's like my one. Well, not one because I've got a million of them. But my the bone that I have to pick with education. It's like, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't we be using the children's natural ability to imagine
Mhm.
and use that for their ability to learn instead of being like, hey, pay attention and stop daydreaming.
Right.
And no, you need to, like, why not, like, make them, imagine
Well, and
almost everything because they're very, very good at it.
Yeah, because I mean, like, even now, like, when I'm in Serena's class and stuff like that, like, I take notes, which I don't have to because she
Right.
gives us what we're doing. But I've done this all the time. Like, if you went back and kept all of my notebooks and everything, like, I doodle everywhere. And that was
Yeah.
me daydreaming. But I was still able to retain that information.
Right.
Like, I don't know how many times teachers would be like, Jayme, what are you doing? You're not paying attention. I'm like, you just said that in 1776. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need to be looking at you. I don't
Yeah.
need to be reading. First of all, I've already read this. I don't need to be looking straight at you and just being like, yes, teacher.
Do you
like,
know what's funny? I just, because of all this crazy shit going around, and, we won't go too far into that because...
Why not?
Well, we totally can, but we got to
Uh-huh.
call it different things because of this, okay? So, we need to come up with code words on that. So
I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being censored.
I don't either, but that's the problem with especially YouTube and certain media platforms right now. What was I talking about?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus. You're
School.
killing me. Okay, school. So I pulled Giovanni from school, and he is, instead of having him in a cubicle, so he's got ADHD, and he's my youngest. He's 9. He's going to be 10. God, next week he's going to be 10. So instead of putting a mask on him, putting him in a cubicle, that's, it's hard enough for him to like sit still in general.
Mhm.
And so I pulled my kids out and I'm homeschooling them because of that reason. Everybody thinks it's because I'm, and I don't know if everybody thinks that, but a certain amount of the teachers probably think that I'm like afraid of the C word. We'll call it the C word because,
The cuts?
yeah. I mean, you could say that sadly, but you can't say the other.
Right.
So maybe we should just call it the cunt.
Cuntavirus? Cuntavirus.
Oh my god. Anyway, so I chose to do that. But the weird thing is, he pays attention. Well, like, I'll be reading with him. He can read and he reads to me, but he can't retain it very well.
Mhm.
So I read to him and he can retain it, but he likes to build Legos. And
Right.
for the longest time, I was like, "Oh my God, you need to pay attention." I was trying to get into that. No, stop doing that. And pay attention. And he stopped being able to retain it. And then I was like, "Okay, here." I bought him like this big $50 model car, right? And he sat there and put all these pieces together while I just read. And I'm not joking you. I asked him the questions, and he was getting 100% on all of his quizzes and his test.
See, and that's why I am leaning more towards putting Jace into the Academy Online, because last year when the contagious started, he was in 8th grade.
I love it.
And they did it where, because then they went remote, and they did it where on Mondays they would just, here's all your assignments for the entire week. You have until Friday to turn it in. Right. He did great. But then he started high school this year, which sucks. First year of high school, you can't be there.
Yeah.
You couldn't leave for lunch. Like, and I'm like, what are they going to go get the contagious at lunch for an hour?
Which they've already said children don't, I mean, if they get it, they do not die from it. They don't get.
He had it.
Yeah, my daughter too.
But he was good within like a day. You know, it was like, oh my God, how is he? I'm like, he's fucking fine.
Yeah,
he's fine.
Yeah.
But so then they took away the hour lunch, and so these kids, this was how the breakdown was: is that they were all assigned to one room, and the teachers from the other subjects would come into that room. So they had to sit in the same room with the same kids for 8 hours, and only got a 30-minute lunch. Which they couldn't go into the lunchroom. They had to order their lunch, before they came to school, and then had the lunch brought up to them. And then had to eat at their desk. Couldn't even go outside. No.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, and I was talking to him, and he was like, if they don't have the remote ability next year, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because the program either lets you do standardized where like, you have to clock in at 8, and then you have to clock in at 9. Right. And then be in the Zoom meetings, which are stupid, by the way. Stupid. Because let me tell you, I am so pissed off about this because I stay home. I work at home. And so I know that he's, yes, there are some times that he is not on, but sometimes the internet was slow, and so he couldn't get on and everything. Yeah. This one teacher, I'm not going to say what subject it was, but she is a big old bitch.
But it reminds. God, I can't even say it. It rhymes with schmack. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it rhymes with Sherman.
Sherman?
Sherman.
Okay.
It was his Sherman class.
Oh, okay.
So
I got it. Okay.
His Sherman teacher.
I got it. Okay.
His Sherman teacher, and this is not just Jace, because our neighbors' children go to the same school, and his best friend goes to the same school. So Miss Sherman teacher, if you were not clocked in within 5 minutes, she marked you as absent. If you did not answer her within, I'm not kidding, 2 seconds, she marked you as absent. If you left, so if their classes stopped at 3:30, if they were not doing anything at 3:25, she wasn't talking, she was like, we're done for the day because, you just need to do this. If he clocked out at 3:25 and didn't wait for the Sherman teacher to be like, okay, you can clock out now, she would mark him as absent. He literally has been absent every day.
Dictatorship.
Yes. Well, that's what happens when you don't learn Sherman. I don't know. But, and it just makes me really mad. And then she would send, really condescending emails. If you can't get your Wi-Fi to work, bitch, the Wi-Fi works just fine. You just need to calm the fuck down and let them, unmute. Because, number one, you don't want to hear me in the background. So my kid mutes himself.
She's the type of girl who you don't put on speaker.
No.
I mean, I do, but it's just fun.
Well, yeah.
But everybody that I'm around they're kind of like,
and
I love it.
And I don't care. I don't care.
I don't either.
I don't care. And you know what? I'm on tangent time.
Do it.
Y'all need to stop giving a shit what other people are saying on the fucking computers, okay? These little pussy-ass people that are going to sit here and hide behind their computers are going to talk shit to you. Do not get your feelings hurt by that. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? You know what?
This is why I started this channel.
Right. So when when you post this, and somebody's going to be like, that blue-haired bitch, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And y'all need to learn how to not give a fuck about what people say and stop letting what people are saying word-wise hurt your feelings. It's fine. It's fine. You should have put your butt up more so we could have seen your butt.
Oh, well. Oh, well. We've got a whole crew. I love it. We're having fun.
They come in and out.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So, yeah.
Okay, so.
Sorry, I
hate
that. I hate that. You know what? When I was in school, I would get bullied to a point, and then I stopped giving a fuck. And I didn't have a problem with it. And
well, that's social media now is trying to.
But why? Why do you don't care what some motherfucker in if you live in Colorado and some fucking 38-year-old dude who still lives in this basement of his mom tells you that you look fat. Why do you fucking care?
Yeah.
Why do you care?
See, this is why you got to get the hippie vibe going and just like let
like
go.
I don't care.
I'm still like working my way up, but but this is why I started this channel, or not the channel, well, a little bit of the channel, but this series, Mystic Conversations with Awakening Stoners.
Which is now going to be turned into Tangent.
Mystic Tangents with Awakening Stoners.
Yes. You're welcome. Trademark.
Yeah,
Trademark.
You heard it from Jayme.
Mm-hmm. What day is it? May 1st, 2021. Trademark, motherfuckers.
True that. But I was really having an issue for the longest time. I was, I'm a medium, and I have to maintain myself like I'm a medium, and I just know all, and I just do all these things, and I have to, like, zen, and no. And then I was like, you know what? Nobody needs to care how I am conducting myself.
Yeah.
We
nobody's
can be
business.
a totally spiritual thing.
Yeah.
And clearly, you all know, and everybody can vouch for that, I'm still a one-hitter quitter, and I probably will always be.
Right.
But, so I don't just sit there and puff all day long.
Right.
And, who cares if you do? Like,
More power to
you.
More power to you, because I take one puff and I'm like...
On the floor. I know, with your one eye.
Yeah. And 30 minutes, like for the first 30 minutes after a puff, I'm hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I should have my own show for 30 minutes. But then...
For 30, it should be called For 30 Minutes.
For 30 minutes. Again, trademark, May 1st.
For 20 minutes.
Yeah.
For 20 minutes with Jayme.
Yeah, but then at, like, legitimately 30 minutes in, I'm like...
Yeah. I mean, I get that way after a while. But I think it's... I was very nervous when I first started this that everybody would judge me and, oh my God, they're going to know. And then they're going to not take me seriously as a medium because now they're going to think I'm just this total stoner that has no idea what she's talking about. And I really, like, my ego was really having this struggle. And, there's people that I adore that I haven't talked to for a while that we're going to have an issue with it. And, oh my God, I can't let them know. And then I just said, fuck it.
Yeah. I wish you would have, I wish you would have
This is who I
talked.
am. I've always been this way.
Yeah, I wish you would have talked about that with me before you started, because I would have been straight up like, why do you
I know.
fuck?
Well, I didn't tell people, and this is the other thing too. I didn't tell a lot of people, and it was because it's embarrassing to admit that you have an issue with what people think of you. And I think everybody, to a point, everybody's got that. This is something that is a human trait, and we shouldn't be ashamed of it. We should just admit it, like, hey, you know what, I've got an issue with this, but I'm working on it. But, if you don't admit it, it's like, AA. Like,
Right.
you've got to admit that, you've got this issue before you get, like, I can't just get rid of my ego.
Right.
If I don't talk about the things that I am egotistical about.
Right. And you know what, like, and I'll like, kind of, like, backtrack that. Like, I do care about what people think.
To a point.
That are that are close to me.
Right.
Like, I care what you think
Right.
about me, and I care what Anthony thinks about me. Not really. Because
he's just fun to piss off.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
That's the
but,
husband.
like,
he's
know.
amazing, but he's hilarious.
Yeah. No, he is.
He's very military.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's total opposite of me.
I know, but then it's funny, too, because, like, when Justin and I first met, like, I was at your house, and I took his son with me,
right.
with the kids and everything, and I was on the phone with Justin, and Anthony was like...
Who, Gio? Are you talking about Gio?
No, just let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, this is what happens. You don't ever let me use my fucking words.
I'm sorry.
So, like, all the kids are outside playing, right? And Anthony's out there and blah, blah, blah. And I'm on the phone with Justin, and Anthony starts yelling at the kids. Like, not actually yelling, but he's like, hey, you motherfuckers, you need to move that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Justin was actually really pissed off. He was like,
Oh.
why is he talking to the kids like that? I'm like, because that's Anthony. And then... I think the first time...
Not knowing Anthony.
Yes, and then the first time, like, we actually had Justin around Anthony, like, he was kind of like, I don't think I like the way he talks to you. I'm like, oh, trust me, if he didn't talk to me that way, then we would have an issue. That's how Anthony talks to you. And, like, there are some times that I'm like...
You almost have to be, like, you do have to be almost, like, I mean, everybody's a medium, right? You have to really use your skills in diving deep into what energetically he means. Because people don't understand him unless you're listening to him through your energetic...
Right.
Because he's funny.
Yes, and he's a huge asshole. Yeah. But not, like, yes, he will
literally,
be...
too, because he's, like,
he will be... Yeah, like, huge sphincter. But, he, like, don't get me wrong, like, Anthony will, like, definitely, like, fuck your shit up if he don't like you. But when you're his friend and he's talking shit about you, he doesn't necessarily really believe what he's saying, but it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So you have to, but again,
he's very like straightforward though. Like, you know what I mean? He's very, he doesn't like, I mean, he does laugh. Of course he laughs.
He doesn't have a filter.
But he has no filter.
But
So
again,
I was glad that I was watching that.
Going back to the original part, like, if you were to encounter Anthony on the street and he said something to you, why are you gonna let him hurt your feelings?
I know.
Why do you give a fuck what he says?
True. Very true.
You know?
But, you know, that's why I started this show. Mm-hmm. And this show makes me happy because it's almost like I'm fighting my demons. This sounds really weird. Like, this is this righteous thing that I get stoned on camera.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
Right? But it does help me to not give a shit.
Right.
Because I'm like, you know what? I can not, I don't have to fit into the mold of what other people think a medium should be.
Right.
You know?
Well, and again, like I was saying, misconception, like, I was thinking that, like, I went to 2 different like, I went and saw a psychic medium one time, and I asked her about my Reiki, and she flat out was like, why do you care? That you, like, if that is what your, like, universal gift is to be able to see the color, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I just paid you $125 to tell me that, but, she, you know, I mean, she was like, I legitimately get it, and then, you know, Serena was like, like, I was like, Serena, you're the one that taught me that. We didn't do anything with colors, and that's all I can do. She's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it's the misconception.
Because you're using your intuition to heal people. And so it doesn't have to be the same colors or the same ways or the same, you know, like, mediumship in general is, you know, everybody's got, they're good at one or two things, or, you know, that's their specialty. But everybody's got all of the, you know, a clairaudient, clairvoyant, you know, all the clairs. Yeah. But you're better at one thing or another.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure that there's lots of people out there that are good at all of them.
Yeah. That takes actually, I don't like, from doing this,
I think
I don't
you definitely
think that
gotta practice and get
exactly. I think it's a lot of practice, and like
maybe some of the kids coming in though. I think some of the kids coming in.
How are we going to be able to do that? Because nobody in society is telling them that it's okay. So all of those kids, hello. Yes, I'm sorry, not any. But I mean, it's still taboo for that. Like, it's still taboo. Like,
but I think it's getting more mainstream. And
But then that's the other problem too, is that when it gets too mainstream, you know, like, you have all
then
these,
you get the jokers.
Yes, or all these fake ass people that, like, okay, yeah, I'm a medium and I believe in healing yourself from the inside and everything as I smoke. You know, like, kind of hypocritical. But then you get these people that are like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this, and then as I'm doing this crystal healing and this Reiki, I'm going to do a line of Coke real quick.
You know, I totally agree with you, and I think that we need, but this is what I think it takes to do this holistic healing on these new generations coming in, and so it's going to take the help of the elders that have that wisdom, and you know, I'm by no means one of the elders. I'm talking about the people that know what they're doing, like ancient. You know, Native American traditions and ancient Buddhist traditions and you know, Christian traditions even. I'm not going to get, I know, I'm not talking about organized religion. I'm talking about the love for the intuition, okay? Not the fucking religion.
Okay, good.
Okay, not the religion. I just mean, in general, we should open up to everybody's beliefs and understand that there's truth behind everything.
Right.
And so there are mystics that are, you know, that believe in certain entities that come in. And so, you know, the ascended masters could easily be, you know, something that they're talking about in Christianity.
Right.
And that's
who's
how
to say that, like, Jesus wasn't a whatever
ascended master.
Exactly.
That's and you know what, the word Buddha means enlightened one. And so technically you could say that, and that's how I always kind of tell people, because they're like, I don't understand Buddhism, blah blah blah. Well, Jesus to me was a Buddha. He was an enlightened master that came down to teach other people how to love each other and how to study and how to not be judgmental and how to let go of ego. I don't necessarily
figure
think,
it
but I
out
could,
for yourself. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's my thoughts of it. And then I have some friends that are very, you know, Christian into the religious part of it. I might disagree. I mean, I usually do on that aspect, but that's their free will, and that's their right.
But so, what the difference between you and other, because, like, again, Kristen was very Christian,
Mhm.
very Bible thumping
Right.
Christian, and then she met me. Big mistake.
Big mistake.
But so I could, when she would be like, the Bible says this, I could be like, the Bible that was written 500 years after Jesus Christ died
And has been
and has
totally
been
changed a
rewritten
million times.
that has been rewritten. Okay, little history story.
Okay.
The King James Bible that everybody reads
Right.
now was rewritten by King James so he could put it into production and make money.
Mhm.
Okay, so as she was a very, huge Christian, and then her mother was, I probably shouldn't have said her name because, well, her mom's not going to watch this because she's retarded. But
Oh my
so
goodness.
Christian mom.
Shrish.
Shrish-
It reminds. Why do I always say reminds?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was very much like, I'm a Bible-toting Christian, and I believe in everything.
She grew up
and
in the
blah, blah,
Bible
blah, blah.
Belt.
Yes, and I'd be like, that's fine. Like, I do not condone Christianity, or not condone. That's not the right.
You don't
I'm not
hate
even
it.
stoned. I don't hate it, but
You're not even stoned, but your energy. You're getting the stoner energy off of me.
I'm an empath, so I do. I do that.
So she's stoned.
So I'm totally stoned. It's like what? So it's not a contact high.
It's an energetic.
Contact high.
You know, I hate the word high. Is that
Right.
weird? Because high to me implies the other drugs that are drugs.
Right.
And it's not like I don't say it every once in a while, but then I catch myself and I'm like, no, I like the words baked, stoned, because to me it's like, no, those particularly go with the
That one.
medicinal plant
Right.
of cannabis. But
And it's a plant, motherfuckers. How are you going to think that a plant that came from Earth?
yeah,
You are going to make alcohol legal, and
that's chemicalized.
chemical. Well, I mean, there's not. I mean, not really like back.
There's
fermented.
some really fermented foods and drinks that are actually really, really good for you.
Right, but I mean, like mead. Like I like mead.
I've never had that.
Ooh, it's good. Like, cause you like wine, right?
I'm not
Well,
really
you
a big.
used- you
I used to
used
like
to,
wine, but I
yeah.
used to kind of fake the funk and just tell. It was almost like the weed thing. Like, I would tell people, like, and it was this kind of joke, like, oh, Jayme and her wine, ha ha ha, and I would.
You were
really,
trying to
it was
make
like. I was trying to bump up the fact that I was like, yes, I drink wine. I'm a wine drinker, so that this is what I can do. Because Italians
Wine's
drink
gross.
wine, right?
Yeah, wine's gross.
But no, I do like wine. But
Yeah, but mead is it's a honey based. It's honey based, or I mean I don't know, but I don't know. Like
it
Justin,
sounds like a lot of gluten in there. It just reminds me of.
no, because it's
I'm
not
gluten
it's,
free.
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
need to be-
hoity-toity. It's
No, and I need to be. You know
I'm
what?
not, but-
I need to be because it hurts my stomach.
It does.
So
That's what
bad.
I'm saying. Like I'm not
so bad,
I'm
and
not
like
a celiac. But
yeah, I'm chubby, and I'm gonna admit it. And I hate when I'm like
curvy.
I'm chubby.
I like the curvy.
Okay, but like, please don't tell me when I'm like I'm fat. Please don't tell me that I'm not.
But I think it's the word fat that's not.
It is, and so I'm like,
I don't
so
like that.
I tell people all the time, I'm a chubby bunny, and I'm like, you're not chubby, motherfucker. Don't lie to me. Do not patronize me and lie to my face because this is chubby, and I'm okay with it. Do I want to look a little bit more toneder? Yeah, but I'm also not like I'm going to starve myself for.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna eat. I would have eaten a pizza. I'm not even lying. I had a pizza last night, and this is why I know that I
I
have
had
to have.
2 pieces of pizza last night too.
Pizza's delicious, and it really sucks because I'm not gonna get the gluten one because I've never I've never had like gluten-free stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've noticed is that when I eat like bread or noodles, because our Justin's like meal base is like we have a lot of spaghetti, we have a lot of noodles, we have a lot of pizza and stuff like that. So when I make food, I made dinner Thursday, and I made like potatoes and meat and cheese and like made a casserole. And because I don't have my gallbladder, I don't digest my food very well.
Right.
So, like, I'm a little poochy. But when I eat gluten, like that pizza,
it hurts. doesn't it? Yeah.
I was pregnant. Like, I
Really?
legitimately had a fucking food baby last night. And it's always, whenever I eat, like, bread-based stuff.
I wonder
like,
if energetically that like lodges, like heavy foods and heavy
Yeah,
starches and heavy
but
meats.
it's so good.
It totally is good. I'm not
So
saying, but I wonder if that's part of why people have like blood sugar issues, because I have blood sugar issues. I'm hypoglycemic, or I was hypoglycemic. Now I tend to like be a little bit better since I took the cleanse. But I wonder if I've always wondered that. Is it like an energetic, and so you would be able to help people with that with Reiki, yeah?
I mean, I haven't tried yet, but I do
should
know,
try.
I did, I Reiki'd a friend of ours
Mhm.
a couple months ago. And it was really weird because she laid on her stomach instead of her back, and that was my bad. I should have told her to lay on her back. But I was sensing the, like, I was like, you have some back problems right here. Right here.
Mm.
And she's like, I feel like I have a lot of ovarian stuff. And I'm like, oh, I was
You're
wrong.
like, I'm going through your back.
Right, yeah. And so, like, I was like, okay, I'm sorry, my bad. And then when she left, I was like sitting out here and I had a Tiffany.
A Tiffany?
A Tiffany.
Nice.
I'll tell you that funny story. So I was like, oh my God, I felt it.
Through.
Because it was in the exact same spot,
Right.
but she was laying a different way.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can't like mirror, like I can't
Yeah.
flip flop it. Like you have to lay on your back so I
Yeah.
know it. But I was like, I was feeling it.
Mm,
But
yeah.
I said back,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
Well, there's times that I've been doing, like I've done readings and I'm like, oh, I feel like my left shoulder, I've learned to leave that kind of stuff out because I'm like, oh, my left shoulder, and they're like, oh, well, my right shoulder's messed up. So it depends, and
It's
then
a
it
mirror
depends.
though. Like you have to think about that. It's a
Right.
mirror. So like
Sometimes, with me,
Okay.
sometimes it's a mirror, and because they're like, oh no, it's my, right shoulder or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. So it was a mirror. But then there's other times that I do readings, and I'm like, and it's the exact one. Oh,
drinking.
sorry, we had to stop the camera because we had to say goodbye to people, and yeah, so we're back. Okay, so what were we talking about?
I think I was starting to be like, I don't understand why weed has been illegal and why there's such a stigma against it, but yet you
Yeah.
have alcohol, which you cannot. There's not even a verifiable like case of anger from getting stoned because
Yeah.
you're not angry when
No.
you're stoned at
No,
all.
you're giggly and,
And-
sometimes just completely stupid.
Yeah, but you're not gonna
Right.
do the shit that people do
No.
when they're drinking
See,
alcohol.
10, 15
Yeah.
minutes and then we'll probably
Okay.
be heading out.
Okay, cool.
But so you're gonna unlegalize. Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's fine. Just take a seat. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I was just taking
Let
my
everybody
shoes
see your-
off and
Let
shit.
everybody see your nice ass. Because he's got a nice ass, y'all. Well, nobody saw it. Did you just fart too?
No,
Oh. I thought you were going to
you would have heard it. It would have been like, see, that's
Oh,
a
man.
fart.
be like, yo.
Now that's
See?
I'm not even.
farts are still funny.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. I don't understand how people are going to be in relationships.
And not fart in front of each other. I don't understand. I agree 100%. I don't understand how you can be that close to somebody. That's almost faking the funk right there.
Right, so
That's just- you gotta be real.
Number one, okay, I'm an extremely gassy lady, and I mean, like I grew up with my mom and dad like crop dusting each other, you
Yeah.
know, and like, but my mom was like she's a bigger girl like me too, and so like her butt cheeks flap when she farts, you know, just like me. So when she's walking, it's all.
Oh my
But she walks right past you. And my dad would be like, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't, like, I'm not going to say who it is, but I know somebody who has been with somebody else for almost,
Yeah.
like, a year and a half or 2 years.
I know a couple people like that.
And she is like, I've never farted in front of him. I'm like, you live with him.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I
Are
know.
you like, I gotta go into the other
Have
room?
you ever been like at a party or something and you're trying, like, it's like an event where you can't necessarily just, you have to have some couth, okay? Like, it depends. There's a time and a place.
No,
But-
if there's a lot of people, you let that shit go because nobody can pin it on you.
I mean, you got a point. But I mean, some people are, I just don't understand. Have you ever been like,
Sounded
where,
like a fart. It was my foot.
it was my foot. But like your stomach just hurts so
Mhm.
bad. And you're like, I can't even, like you've held it in for so long that your like stomach is like, and then you go to the bathroom to try to let it out and you can't get it out because
Yeah.
it's like stuck.
Right.
We're really talking about farts right now, but it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I don't understand
And
how
it's
you can really
natu-
get to know somebody like that.
Yeah, and then people are like I don't like it when there's men that are like women don't fart. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Your
do.
mama farts. She shit when your mama had
farts.
you, she took a big old shit and your face landed on it when she had you. So don't sit there and
I
tell
don't
me
know about
that
the face landing on
well,
it.
well, those people because they're shit faces.
Oh, they're shitheads.
They're shitheads.
Oh my god.
But, so when people are like, that's not natural, yes it is. It's
Yeah.
unnatural for you to hold in your farts, and it's definitely unnatural for you to be living with somebody for a year
Yeah.
and you not fart. And first of all,
It is a
you,
little
that is
awkward.
not true love until you can rip ass.
Yeah.
And have you laugh at it, he laughs
Yeah.
at it. It's not true
And you
love
try to
until
one up each other?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. And then it's a competition, healthy competition.
Yeah.
Or it's not true love unless you have laid there as you're falling asleep and your significant other's like,
Oh God!
and then
The
Dutch, ovens
oven.
you. Like that is true.
I Dutch
fucking
ovened
love.
myself one time.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I didn't mean to. Like, no, this was like Anthony, like totally huge, let one loose, right?
Mhm.
And I grabbed the blankets and meant to put it over my nose. And I accidentally kind of put it over my head, like not over
And
my
then
head,
was
but
he
I
like-
went like this, and he was like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And I about died.
Yeah.
And I Dutch oven myself, like I meant to like hold it over my nose, like
Yeah. But you know what? I think is fucking hilarious is that like I'll be laying there with Justin or I'll be getting ready to go in bed because he gets the bed warm for me. I call it. I used to call it Teddy Tiger time because he's like so warm. And, you know, of course we sleep naked because he's so
Right.
fucking warm. And so, like, I hold on to him, and so when he warms
Yeah,
up my bed.
we
And
have to
now I'm
sleep
calling
naked,
it Teddy Toaster time. Because if he gets in the bed before me, because it's super cold downstairs, and I'll get in bed and it's super warm
Yeah.
already. For him just laying there for like 2 or 3 minutes. But I find it fucking hilarious. And I'm like, oh my God, I fucking love you so fucking much right now. Because he will let one rip, and I'll be like, oh my God, there's something die in your ass. Like, that is like the funniest shit that you can do. So, like, I mean, there
man.
are times
Yeah.
that, like, I'm 5 feet away and it's burning my eyes.
Yeah.
But I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is funny.
I think farts are amazing.
Farts are fun.
Yeah, they're so fun.
They
And
are.
they feel good.
They do.
Don't hold that shit in.
God, it feels so much better to just let it rip.
You know who doesn't fart? The politicians.
That's because they're not human.
Oh, all right.
You know, there's that.
Well, that sucks for those alien races that can't fart either.
Chime in conspiracy theories on Mystic Medium. Totally. They're not
I know.
human.
Well, have you seen...
Pelosi?
I thought we weren't supposed to say words, so I was
Oh, we
going to say
weren't.
shmishmoshi?
Yeah, shmishmoshmi?
Shmishmoshi?
Yeah, I mean, the woman's got, like, the eyes are, like, black.
Well, and not even that. Okay, so I don't get into politics because it's stupid. And
I don't like politics either until this event. But I think it's more because there's a lot of wake-up calls, and I'm not taking sides on either one,
mm-mm.
but there's a lot of wake-up calls that are happening through politicians.
Right, but so my thing is that number one, when we got with the whole spirituality thing, like, you're supposed to love each other. Like,
Mhm.
we're supposed to be here to love and support each other.
Right.
And several religions tote that. But then you sit there and you say that you're a shmishrishan,
Shmishkin?
a shmishtin, but
We
you
don't have to block out that word, but that's
okay.
funny.
Okay. Well, I don't want to be. I don't really. You know what? I don't give a fuck what you say under the comments or whatever. So you have these Christians that are like, oh, I love Jesus and I'm a devout Christian, but then you're like, I fucking hate that person because they're not the same as me, or I hate
Right.
that person.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. Jesus' one thing that he wanted people to believe was
Right.
you love one another.
Yeah.
So then you see all these politicians, and then you see the hate. Oh, do that again. You see the hate coming from people, and I'm like, you're really gonna hate somebody, especially like family. Like,
Mhm.
you're gonna get into all-out, drag-out, knockdown fights with your family over your political views.
Right.
That is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
God.
And then hate each other over it, and not talk to each other, and not be a
Right.
family. It's to me, all of this is all about divide and conquer.
Mhm.
No matter how you do it.
Divide.
Yes. With
Divide.
politics.
It's an anime
Like-
school DxD thing.
Oh, okay. I thought you
That's
were
when
doing
he-
some like cool stuff with my.
No, he was quoting a good anime
I'm
that
sorry,
we
I didn't
watched.
mean to interrupt.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
funny. No, I think through politics. I think through now they're doing the race card thing. I think through medical. You know, who's getting the jab and who's not. I mean, all of that. You know, at least we might have opposing views.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's very well known that you and I have opposing views on a couple of things.
Mhm.
You know, we agree on a lot of things, but there's a healthy amounts, I think, because
Yeah.
we're not fucking robots.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I'm also not going to sit here and be like,
Disrespectful.
yes. Like, I don't understand.
Sometimes I'm a little disrespectful. I don't mean to be, but like I get passionate about it, and I'm like, oh,
Well, that's different. But you're not going to sit there and be like, God damn it, Jayme, you are so fucking stupid.
No.
I
Do your
hate you."
research. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
You use a logical mind.
And that's the thing is that, like, I just, you know what? Everybody has to have opposing views. I like debating all kinds and stuff like that.
Well, then we
but
just
I'm
be
also,
robots if we all totally agreed with everything.
Right. Like, it's like, do your research and have respect. Like,
Yeah.
R-E-S-P-C-C-T.
PCCT.
Yeah, it was funny because the first time we went out.
You guys have your
Yeah.
inside jokes.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'll tell you.
All the
So
time.
we went to one of the bars down in Fort Collins and got the fishbowl, and I got really super
man.
drunk. And then we were walking
Drunken
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were walking around, and outside I was holding his hand, and I was all swinging it. And then you could hear the Aretha Franklin? Or Tina Turner? Or Aretha Franklin. It's like, R-E-S-P-C-T.
Yeah.
And I'm so drunk. I'm sitting there, and I'm skipping, and I'm swinging his arm. And I'm like, R-E-S-P-C-C-T. It's Jimmy. This is the first time we, like, hung out.
Oh.
In
and
public.
he's like, this is the one. This is the one.
Yeah, he's like, she can't spell
and he's
when
all
she's
about.
drunk.
He's a musician, so we're gonna get to his
I knew that.
his interview. You guys won't see it until the next week, because but whatever. But we're getting to his interview afterwards. But he's a
Great.
musician, and so it's just funny to me how like Jamie's just singing words wrong. Did that drive you crazy?
No, because music
You
is
loved her
expression.
for it.
Yes,
You're like,
music is expression. It's a form of expression.
Yes.
I
And
also
she's
think
not like
that-
going,
Yeah.
everything is
I
done
still
with
sing to
attitude
it.
and cueing. And, yeah, no.
I
it's
sing to
not.
him every night too.
I love it.
Like I'll lay down and I'm like, it's time for Teddy Tiger time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make myself a burrito because
my
I
God.
have
God.
to put
This is
the
really good.
thing over my shoulder and tuck my feet in. And now it's Teddy Tiger time and I'm waiting for my kiss. And he gives
Yeah.
me
Oh my
a
God.
kiss.
Like,
and
you know,
now
it's
it's
not-
time
awesome.
for-
But sometimes it's
How can we
elaborated
not
and
love
it's
that?
different.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
I
I'll do that to him for like 5 minutes and I'm like, I'm sorry that I keep on calling, but I feel like I gotta keep on singing. And I know that you just wanna go to bed and you're
But
like,
see,
oh
that's
my
musical
God.
expression.
Yeah.
You
I love it.
cannot deny people that.
For sure.
Period.
For sure.
Cannot. No. People deny people that all the time, telling their kids to shut the fuck up. No.
Yeah. Right.
Let them express.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, sometimes I tell my kids to shut up.
Oh, that's
and
just because
really
they talk too much. Your kids talk a lot.
I know, but they're mine.
Dude,
I mean,
not
they
even
were
lie.
raised. They were raised by me.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie.
My
I
kids
love
talk a lot.
Noah so much, but sometimes I'm just like,
Her son is Noah.
no, he's my 21-year-old son, and he's 21 and still like is like comic books and Marvel and.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's
though.
nothing wrong
No.
with it, but there are some times that I'm just like way too tired,
It's
and
not
he,
your jam.
No, and then he'll just keep going and going and going. Or you know what really irritates me is if I'm watching something, and he like tries to like in depth tell me something. I'm like, oh my God, you need to shut the fuck up right now.
God,
Do
I
you
know.
see what I'm doing right
My
now?
kids do that too, and sometimes I feel really guilty because this is like parenting. Parenting as a
Stoner?
as a stoner. Well, parenting as a stoner is so much easier because I can like totally get into what because I can imagine it and everything. So I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's amazing. But when I'm just trying to chill and sit there and I've had enough and like the day has it's been too much, I admit, and I think that's something that we all need to admit to, I am so not a fucking perfect parent. I am sometimes a complete asshole when it comes to parenting.
Me too.
And so I think, when my kids are trying to get my attention and I'm all over the place because, I have ADD as well. And so I'm just zoned out. I am bad about being like, stop it, just stop. And that's, and then here I am trying to tell people like, we need to encourage, the imagination
But
of
you're
children.
not. But you're not sitting there being like, oh my God, like you're not discouraging from anything. You're just telling them to stop talking.
I know. Sometimes it's like I get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It,
Well, my thing that
we
really
can get
like.
overwhelmed very easily.
Oh yeah, my Noah will be
I know
like.
the correct way to do it.
Noah always does this, because we come outside to smoke, because we don't smoke in the house, and he literally will start. He will see you walking out the door. The
Right.
door will be open. He'll be like, "So you want to know what?" I'm like, "No, because I am walking outside to smoke. Don't
I
tell
wanna
me
know what.
No,
No.
like if you want to talk to me, do it as I'm walking out, or do it in there, not
Yeah.
as I'm walking out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm playing with the babies. She has Kristen nipples.
Yeah.
Kristen's nipples look like that all the time.
That's perfect.
Mhm.
They're very nice. Okay, so now we're going to have to end this because I do have a lot on here
Yeah.
that I've got to do, and then I've got to do.
You got some gold.
Yeah, I got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Got some good stuff. But I would love to have you back sometime, and we
I
can
could-
talk more
I
about
was gonna
energy
be
because we
like-
go off on tangents.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We talked about the
I
tangents.
know, I was going to be like, how do I ask her if I can do it with her a lot? Not that I want to, like, take
No,
over your
I
channel
would
and
love
be,
you-
like, your partner, but
No.
I want to do this more.
I would adore the fact that you, I do adore the fact that you want to be in that, and I would love for you to be on here more often. Okay, cool. We'll do this more often. We might have to do some Zoom ones, though, because sometimes it's really hard for me to, like, get everybody together and make sure that they're all good and at home.
All right.
But so,
All right.
as long as you're okay with that, but sometimes I will be here. Is that fair?
No, fine. As long
Thank
as
you.
it lets me do it more than one time.
Well, yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Cool.
My love.
Okay.
You're awesome.
Nice.
Okay, welcome to your Ascension Creators. I will see you on the next video. Yay!
Seacrest out!
Seacrest.